I have him in the building. It is Zeb, the celeb.
What up? What up? Peace to power. Peace to power.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How you doing, Sexy Shi?
I am fucking phenomenal, to be honest.
That's
Ain't
what's
gonna lie.
up.
Yeah,
That's definitely what's up, man. My bad about being late too, man.
it's okay.
Got caught in traffic, and then I ain't gonna lie, a little confused about the building.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I
It's
might have
big as
smoked.
fuck, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I
Yeah.
ain't even gonna lie. I thought I was coming into like a little small situation, two
We
story
doing
office
big over
building or
here.
something. Right,
We doing
right.
big over
Y'all got
here.
like 100 businesses in this job. Like, oh.
No, but I appreciate you for coming.
No,
I
thank you for
do,
having me.
especially it was kind of like a last minute thing.
Right,
But I heard
right.
you a couple weeks ago that night, and you was performing,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
we had a basic conversation. But I was drinking. I know you was too. So you,
Actually, I don't
no,
drink
you
or
don't.
smoke.
Well, I was
No.
drunk, so that's probably what it was. No, but it was more of your music is different,
Oh, thank
and
you. I appreciate
yeah, I
that.
like that. I like your
Appreciate
style,
that.
and your tone is also very dope as well.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
of
Like,
course.
me and my team, P2P, that stands for Peace to Power,
Hmm.
and we trying to like revamp. We call it we call it a hip hop resurrection, but we trying to like start our own little genre of music called righteous rap. You know what I'm saying? That's like music with a message.
Hmm.
Cause I came up from like a lot of the classic guys, KRS-One, even dudes like Mos Def, you know what I mean, Common, Talib Kweli. You know what I'm saying? I came up off of that style of music. I mean, I had the other style around, but I always had a respect for that.
Right.
So we trying to do something to kind of bring that consciousness back to rap, bring that music that brings a message, and you mean make people think, make people learn,
Hmm.
make people strive to be the best they can be.
I think that's awesome. It's kind of like one reason why I created the show itself. It's called THC, but it stands for Topics of High Conversation.
Right.
So most people think, I mean, I guess I do smoke, but it's more as the conversation that you have when you smoke can be either that dumb high conversation or it
Right.
can be like that real next level conversation.
No, definitely.
So like I like to have like conversations with people that you wouldn't normally have with a standard person.
Right, right,
And then of course for me, I put music with it because a lot of people heal through
right.
music. You know what I
Definitely,
mean? So why
definitely.
not be able to put them together? Because yeah, I love music. I sing in the shower,
Right,
but I'm not an artist. You know
right,
what I mean? My art is
right.
photography, videography. I'm a visual person.
That's what's up.
So I wanted,
It's needed.
it is needed. You know what I mean? And a lot of people I've worked with and why, like, that I even kept going forward was the way I talk to the artists to get them to understand, like what you need to do, how you need to move, like, giving them strategies, giving them like other ways to maneuver themselves to be able to work in the business itself.
Right, right.
Because people coming in thinking it's all glitter and gold, but it's not
It's
like that.
yeah, it's hard work.
It's so
It's
much
real
work.
hard work, like today.
Right. Having those moments like today. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I love and very thankful that I had this opportunity, one to interview you, but also be able to help other people as well too.
Right, right.
Give them a chance to utilize their voice behind their music. So like, we hear a song, now of course listen to it, I vibe out with it. And then I'm like, of course I'm high at the time. So I'm thinking like,
Right.
damn, I wonder what he meant by this. Because sometimes it's a wordplay.
Right,
So
right.
how I might get it might be different than how you actually meant it.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. That's definitely true.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. And I think it's a beautiful thing. I mean, that you're creating this space for, artists to give their opinion or their explanation of their music.
Exactly.
Because sometimes people hear things like you said, and they'll take it one way,
Hmm.
and the artist might have meant it a totally different way.
Exactly.
So this dope.
Yeah.
What you doing? Like we call that peace to power. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's
You
what it
actually
is.
moving, you manifesting. It's
Indeed.
beautiful.
I found out I met this guy. He was from India. So my
Mhm.
real name is LaShyla, right?
Okay.
But I go by Shy for short because it's so much easier. Reason why too. White people couldn't say my name for nothing. So I got tired of always telling them how to say my name properly. So I was like, just call me Shy. And it
Right.
just stuck from there.
Right.
But he told me in their language, my name means peace.
Mm.
And then I realized throughout the years, I actually bring peace to situations depending on what the situation is. I hate drama. I don't want to fight. I only been in probably like 3 fights in my whole life. You know what I
Wow,
mean?
really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My last fight was horrible though because I was drinking. I had a lot of anger built up because I had a crazy childhood and then I
Yeah.
blacked out. Ended up fighting 4 gay dudes and 2 bitches.
Man.
And I was like,
They say them gay dudes can fight too.
but I was drunk, so it didn't matter that night.
Yeah.
But
Oh
he should have
man.
put his hands on me. And that's
Right.
what I
True
told
indeed.
him.
True
You
indeed.
don't know me.
True indeed.
And then I would argue, I have anger issues. I told my mom as a kid, I think I need to be in therapy. But she was like,
We all
why?
do.
She was like, you don't need, no, I think I do. And then at that moment, that's when I knew. But at that moment, I also realized I can never do this again.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So I want to get to know you more, though. That's why
Oh,
we brought
definitely,
you here.
definitely,
So
definitely.
let's get this going. So tell them more about you.
Well, I was born and raised in Philadelphia, PA.
Okay.
I mean, moved to Pittsburgh, like probably 10 years ago or so. You know what I'm saying, but I'm a church boy, to be like all the way 100.
I can hear it when you sing.
Yeah, like I'm definitely, but I don't really be singing. Like I'm gonna keep it real. Like,
Really?
I can rap. No, like on the song "My Queen," that's my little cousin.
Oh,
We
okay.
call him Blonde Bomber. His name Nico, but that's him singing. But yeah, I grew up in the church, but like I still. My mom tried to be very protective of me,
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't worked good because she worked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So always had opportunities to run the street. I mean, I came up in a regular black neighborhood in South Philly, Southwest Philly. I mean, so it was crazy. Like I could remember we would go to church, and then like go to the Chinese store across the street, get chicken wings, and laugh at the dope fiends nodding off and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, so my childhood, it was a beautiful childhood, but just like everybody else, exposed to different things,
Mm-hmm.
but always wanted better,
Mm-hmm.
always wanted a different way. So, like, I feel like when I came up listening to hip hop, certain things my mom heard, she would jump on it real quick.
I agree.
So it kind of forced me more into listening to like the Most Defs, the Talib Kweli's, Commons, and stuff like that.
That more conscious music.
Right, because my mom wasn't having most of the shit, you know what I'm saying? So, I got into that. And that kind of like cultivated my love for conscious hip hop and conscious rap. Even though like when I was young with my boys, like I was smoking weed, freestyling. Yeah, we spit about gangster shit, and the more I did it, like anybody, it's like exercise. You get good at it. But at some point, I got to a point where it's like, all right, it's easy to talk about that shit. It's easy to talk about some drill shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Sliding on ops and all that shit. That shit is easy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I started to challenge myself. Like, can I talk about something different? Can I talk about, like a girl in a respectable way, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would I want somebody to talk to my sister, my daughter, my mother? You know what I mean? So I started to challenge myself like that, and I heard Common and them do it. So it was like, man, like I'm gonna try to rap like them. And I ain't gonna lie, it took me years. Like it was hard at first, cause I was so used to, spitting the ratchet rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That it came second nature.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I actually tried to talk about something that I considered meaningful, it was kind of hard. Like I was thinking too much.
Yeah.
But the older I got, the more that became my reality instead of, being so involved with my neighborhood and having to live up to a certain image or doing what I thought was necessary in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? When I started to grow up and change my reality, it became easier for me to rap with a more positive or more uplifting message.
So were you more around positive people at the time, or were you still kind of the same people when you made that transition?
When I made the transition, I would have to say I was definitely around more positive people. Like my whole situation had changed because like now I'm in a position I work. You know what I mean? Like I don't do certain activities as much no more. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's like it's different now because it's like even if I do something like I'm not on the corner all day. You know what I mean? Like being on being on the corner all day, it creates a mindset in me. I can't speak for everybody, but in me where it's like the chaos becomes normal. You know what I mean? You start to I started to accept it and think this was how life was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But as I grew older, had to face certain consequences, and then had to get a job so it looked good to parole and all that different type of boards. It's like, okay, now I'm around different people, which for me was good because I got to see that, yeah, my reality was real, but just because somebody's reality is different don't mean they not real. Just because somebody get up and go to work every day, just because somebody start a business, like there's black people who not from the hood. who don't talk the way I talk.
Right.
That don't make them no realer, no less realer than me.
I agree.
They just came up in a different reality,
Yeah.
and these is things I learned as I got older. So when I made the transition, I was definitely around different people, having new experiences in life. Yeah, even got to lead a country a few times, so
That's what's up.
it definitely affected me.
All right, I love it. Well, we're going to go ahead and get to your, one of the first songs. That way we can really get you to hear your music.
Okay.
So we can keep going in the conversation because so far I'm liking it. You know, go ahead and introduce the song, sir.
Okay, well this is my queen with P2P's at the Celeb and Blind Bomber. This was on the charts for about 2 months.
Okay.
On the digital radio charts, and this is dedicated to all the beautiful black women out there in the world.
Hey.
You know, you inspire us, and we love you.
Hey.
This is dope. I like this.
A little different.
Yeah. So you do this every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
You're the sixth person I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. I was nervous for honesty, like I was okay with just doing my business. I haven't been involved. I've been over 3 years. Probably my high production. I do entirely audio. I do audio like maybe like that's it. Like I've done all of that before. Yeah, I've done all that before. I went to a corporate way with it. That's what I do. I worked in
Okay.
Make profit from all that I bring. I can't stop it, I let my heart sing. Such a beautiful job of offspring. Yeah, and I know what's up. Every time I come around and I feel your touch. When they're saying take me down, no one's saying calm down, no one's saying baby I'm up. That's up. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, we did the same
That's
thing with
what's
the
up.
music. Like,
Yeah,
I got
she gonna pick
songs
me
from
up.
McDonald's and all.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
as far as blowing up and all that, I mean, it's cool, but what'll get me paid right now? If I make songs that, yeah, right. Like, if I make songs that a business is paying for, I get you on the corporate thing. I mean, you got it.
It's been me the whole entire time. I don't have no partner, no nothing. It's just been myself.
And when we debate, we make a point not to get all in each other's face.
They
Man,
wanna
we
change.
disagree and give each other space. We visit issues
Right.
when I'm on stage. Yeah, it's in another place. Love, what we both say. Yeah,
Similar vision.
what we both say. Yeah,
Information
cause I'm stage in another place. Yeah. When there's commotion, using logic to counter emotions. Cause we both are committed devotion. And our love it runs deep as the ocean. Yeah.
Right.
They're expecting the way I look and how I am. And I'm not saying something sweet, but I was raised by a black man. I'm a product of
We're gonna have some fighting.
I have a lot of fighting.
Right.
So I'm ready for the
Right.
that you got, you know?
Right.
So conversation wise, like I love communication.
That's what's up.
You
That's
know
what's up.
what I'm
You
on.
went to school for
You
communication?
know that
I was
I'm
just
on.
I got 3
You're
degrees.
what my mind's
I
on.
went back to school at the age of 29, which is crazy. I know you're a single mom the whole thing.
Don't check what year you graduated, just if you got it or not, right?
I was very so I went to school. Oh no, I went back actually. I got 3 degrees and then I got 3. So I have radio broadcasting, audio production, and then media communication.
That's dope. That's dope.
I feel it.
That's definitely dope.
I do a lot. I love it.
I don't even know if that's picking it up right. I'm going, yeah. Oh, that is me singing at the end, though.
See? Got me like over here. But anyway, that song is dope. My queen, right?
Yes, that's my queen.
I love it.
You know, got the Afrobeat inspiration on there.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I love it because it's like you said, it's different. It's a different style. Like you would hear it in Jamaican music.
Right.
Because they talk about they women all the time in a positive way.
Yeah.
But it's just here we don't get that.
Yeah, and that's a big part of why I wrote that, because like I feel like even when it comes to rap, we got a stigma when it comes to talking about women, and you know it ain't the most positive thing, and I feel like in the black community, one of the things we need most is a healing between the male and the female relationship. Like,
I agree.
you know, I feel everybody when they be like, I don't need a man, and you know, niggas say they don't need
Yeah.
no bitch, but let's be for real, that's just a whole lie. Like,
It is
we
toxic.
really need each other.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean?
And for me, like I was telling you about, like, I was raised by a black man,
Right.
my father,
Right.
from birth until now to this day. You know, I need anything, I call my dad. You know what I
Right.
mean? So who am I to be like, I don't need no man, but if I need my dad, it's the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So but some people didn't have that aspect. They don't know what it's like to have a man figure or a male role or a father figure in their life.
Right.
So they're on, and then plus, like I was just having a conversation with my friend a couple days ago. A lot of people, women, are so bitter, and they're teaching their kids how to be bitter.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's
I mean,
where that transaction comes from, because they're so bitter.
Right.
You know?
I mean, I agree with you. You know, a lot of women are bitter, but I gotta take some responsibility as a male too. We haven't always stepped up to the plate like we should have.
Yeah,
You
but
know, we have dropped the ball in a lot of ways. You know, and I think it's
actually 50-50.
right. It's a 50-50 thing. Like, so that's why I feel like men and women in our community, we gotta come together and heal.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would be a big bonus for our whole community. You know, like, yes, reparations and all these other things helps and things like that, but I think that we would see an instant turnaround in our communities if the male and female relationship got time to heal or mended a little bit.
I think it would be more of people as a whole healing themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think if we heal ourselves, we're then able to actually help someone else.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. That's why like when you was talking about therapy, I feel like we all need therapy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's nothing wrong with it. Like, everybody needs some type of counseling. Nobody can figure out everything by themselves. You know, sometimes people call people and be like, "Yo, man, I seen such and such and such and such and did this, that, and the third."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, and then a lot of people response is, "Man, if I would have been there, I would have did this, this, and this." You mean, but sometimes that's a form of therapy. But sometimes you need to run things across somebody else just to get an outside perspective on it, because we one person, we only gonna see things one type of way, and most of us got a limited amount of knowledge.
I agree.
So we can't understand things coming from a different point of view.
Right.
So I think we all need therapy. I definitely do. I had a therapist. I was talking to, you know, my friend or whatever, and telling her like, yo, I think I'm gonna call my therapist back up and start my sessions up again.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, because I feel like it helped me grow to get where I'm at now.
It helped you know how to let things go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't have a therapist, but I had she's a life coach.
Okay.
I had a life coach, you know, so I went completely different. So,
Right.
But no, it was more of the conversations we had that helped me see, instead of like, you know, having a therapist on basic things, it was more like in your face. And you had to face it right then and there, because you couldn't go without it, you know what I mean? In order to make it happen, this is what you have to do. So when somebody telling you that's your issue, now fix your issue.
Right.
And then from there, but it goes, when I found out what the issue was, my mind, of course, goes back to that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So now I'm struggling with that, because I'm not gonna have to let that go.
Right.
So it's like, now, you know, but it happened so many years ago.
Right.
I don't know how to let that go. You know what I mean? I didn't know how to. But the thing about her was she taught me a little bit about it. You know what I mean? But it was a difference. She was a white lady. I'm black. So certain things that she can't really help me with. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's where I know where some black people come from. Like, I don't know how to, or who can I go to really talk to about these certain situations. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I can definitely say, yes, it's hard, you know, for anyone to feel comfortable enough to open themselves up to have the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I can 1,000% say that it does help in all ways, because thinking about it is going to make it nothing but worse for you.
Right.
Because you can't change nothing that happened.
Right.
So thinking about it's going to do nothing but hurt you mentally.
Right.
And then for me, I'm a spiritual person. I don't know if you are, but that's really when the devil steps in, is when you're weak.
Right. No, I totally agree with you. You know, I totally agree with you. You can't change nothing that happened. The only thing you really could change is your perspective on it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what,
Or just
you
come
know,
to peace with
therapists,
it.
right,
Like,
or accept it. Yeah.
Accept it and move past it.
Right.
You know what? Okay, so I tell a lot of people this. Like, so how I learned how to let shit go is I literally take a shit. And then in my mind.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
No, I'm serious.
T-Rex, you was on that one.
No, but seriously, it's like, cause you have to like learn how to let things go. Like,
right.
This is how I look at it. When you take a shit, you don't want that shit back, do you?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Not at all.
So if you physically take a shit and you flush the toilet, that shit is not going.
Right.
So why you can't bring that shit back?
Right.
So that's the reason why I use it in that way, so people can truly understand how to let shit go.
That's a dope concept.
Yeah.
That's a dope concept.
Like,
mine a little different. Like, when things happen that I gotta let go, I always feel like the way I accept it is to say, okay, that worked to this point. Now I gotta hop on this. You know, so what did I learn from that I can apply here? Anything that ain't gonna help in this next thing that I'm doing, I gotta leave it where it's at. Because I'm too busy growing to worry about what just happened with that whole situation.
I agree. So it's kind of like reflection. So you take a reflection period.
Okay.
Most people don't take a reflection period. They just keep moving.
Right.
So what you do is you take a second to stop, and then you reflect on what happened. Then you look at the whole outcome of the situation, and then you move to the next step from there. You know what I mean? That's something that most people don't have, which is a tool that you gain from going through therapy.
Right.
So it's a good thing that you're still utilizing the tools that you gain, and that's something that becomes a habit.
Right.
So that's really great that you can do that.
And that's dope. And I feel like everybody should do it. Like, I feel like in our community, to be honest, most of us came up in single parent homes.
Yeah.
That alone warrants anybody to be able to go get some therapy. If we come up in a society to tell you a 2-parent home is the normal thing, and most of us come from a 1-parent home, off of that fact alone, since I come from a 1-parent home, I deserve to get some therapy.
Yeah, I think that I agree with that. But I got lucky. But my mom and dad was married.
Beautiful.
But it's a big but in there. My mom was a narcissist. So growing up that's what I say, like, I praise my dad because he stayed there. And he wanted to leave, trust me, he wanted to leave. But he said, I can't leave my daughters.
That's what's up.
I mean? So he stayed for us. And like, as soon as my mom tried to kick me out at 18, he was like, she ain't going nowhere. At 20 years old was when I moved out. And then literally like 2 weeks later, my dad left. Wow. So my dad truly stayed for us. You know what I mean? Wow. So that's why I praise the black men as much as I do. Because I actually was raised by a real one. You know
That's
what I mean?
beautiful.
My dad was my coach. I played sports since I was 7.
Yeah.
Every sport I played until high school, my dad coached me on. So
that's dope.
All I heard was, get up, you be all right.
That's beautiful.
Fall, get back up, you be all right.
That's beautiful.
But on one side, on the woman's side, that's where I took the hit at. And I realized a lot of women have that issue. You know what I mean?
Right.
For example, I would say example, it's more of, because I said that's where the bitterness comes in that. I didn't realize I had a mommy issue until I became a mommy.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't, I didn't know, you know what I mean? And then once I became a mom, I'm like, okay, my mind, how can I, okay, I don't know what to do in this situation. So I'm thinking back to what my mom did for me. But now I'm thinking back to this shit. I'm like, I definitely do that shit to my baby.
Right.
But then I also bring back her at the same time. So I'm trying to not overcompensate. So I'm doing too much, basically.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that was something that was different. Plus, I'm a single mom. I didn't grow up in a single parent household. But I'm growing up, I'm doing something different, but also trying to learn how to let go of what I was dealt with as a young lady. You know what I mean? So it took me a while to get to a point to be comfortable as being a woman. Because I was always torn down. Even to literally a couple weeks ago, my mom tried her best again. And I had to cut her off. I can't.
Right. And that's beautiful to know when you got to set up them boundaries. You know, that's a very important thing. That's something I'm still working on it today. You know what I mean? But I feel like I have gotten better at it. It's setting boundaries. Like, I know when to say no. Or sometimes, I'm going to be honest, sometimes it's just like, you know what, I can't deal with this person right now. I might not got enough courage or heart to say no, but it's just like, I ain't going to answer the phone.
Exactly.
That's how I make myself inaccessible, so I ain't got to deal with
something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't feel like dealing with that shit today.
Right.
Leave it on red. And maybe when I feel like dealing with it, I will. If I don't, like it. You know
exactly. What I mean? See, I was the total opposite. Like, I was raised more by my mother.
Okay.
And you know,
I can tell
like
you from Philly by the way you said that.
yeah, and how we say water too. But yeah, like so I was raised by my mother, and I think that's why I like praise and look up to the black woman so much. You know, my father tried. That's one thing I will say.
That's
He
great.
tried, but you know, he had his issues and his demons that he was battling. You know, and the older I got, the more I always understood my father because I was a man. And coming up, you know, in the streets, like it was certain things that I tried that I knew my dad was into, and when I tried it, I felt good. Like, and I'm like, I see how people could get addicted to these women. I see how you can get addicted to, you know. So it was like, but at the same time, it was like, okay, as good as this feel, I see what it did to him. You know what I mean? Like women, drugs, you know, those things. Yeah. So it's like at some point I gotta have more self control because, and this is no disrespect to him, but I want to be better than him. There's certain areas that he still struggle with or he ain't mastered yet that I want to master within myself. So when I had kids, you know, I'm
to teach them,
right.
I think that's dope. Well, I do. We, you know, unfortunately, our time is going, but I want to make sure we play another dope ass song because that first one we heard was "Fire My Queen," and I'm definitely going to make sure I put it on my playlist because I like. I like the vibe. I love hearing that whole little thing. But so go ahead. I want you to introduce this next song, and then we go.
Okay. This next song, this is part of the genre righteous rap that I was talking about. This song is called "Peace to Power." This is on shout out to LL Cool J. This is over the Rock the Bells beat, but this is like me paying homage to some of the greats like KRS-One, Rakim. I mean, people that inspired me, and this is like one of my political message.
All right. Well, I want to, you know what? Let's do this because I want to make sure we end on this note. You know what I mean? So you can hear this and know what the fuck it is. So. But give me your IG, how they can find you, like all of that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you can find me on all streaming platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of them, TikTok. P the number 2P _ ZEBTHECELEB. Once again, that's P the number 2P _ ZEBTHECELEB. And I appreciate you, the Sexy Shi, T-Rex. I want to thank y'all. Yeah, Nerve DJs. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, we appreciate you. So let's go ahead and end on that high note. What is it called again, sir?
Peace to power.
Yes, sir. Get out.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming. Like, even though, like, you know, things happen, but you still made it. You still had a chance to get out there and, like, you know, I had a chance to, like, have conversations.
Right. And next time I know how to get, like, to the thing or whatever. But I definitely like this, what y'all got going here. And I appreciate you having the whole Ruka Flyboy team up here. You know, we need trying. But y'all doing big moves. This is big.
I just started. They've been doing this for over how many years, Keith? How many years?
What's that?
How many years we doing this?
Nerve DJs?
Yeah.
This is the 19th year.
For real?
This our, we've been in this building 6 years now.
Oh, word? Oh, that's what's up.
Largest DJ coalition in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, we about to jump on a conference call now.
Okay.
Like, yeah, we got Cyber City to make. We started at 7. We used to go about 9. We had major artists, independent artists. Just the way you could get your music out of here to the masses.
Oh, word.
You get a promotion plan. It's all on the, I haven't sent everything to you.
Oh, yeah, please do. Please do. I'm definitely interested in that, man.
That's why I mean, like, I have to be picky on people I choose.
Yeah.
Not everybody appreciates me that. You know?
No, yeah, I mean, it's weird. Some people think this is just a walk in the park. They don't think it's a job. You know what I mean?
We
Like,
was just talking about that. That's crazy.
You know,
I think it's like that.
Like, and I ain't gonna lie, because I was so mad, because, like, when I was coming up here, I'm looking at the GPS, and I'm like, all right, I probably can still get there at 5:30. Got on, like, I'm leaving out of Pittsburgh, out of PA. They got construction going on. I'm like, all right, I still make it at 6. Got here at 6. And then I couldn't find the actual office. Like, I literally was walking around the building.
I'm gonna text her. I'm gonna give you.
I gave it to you.
You did.
Directions?
You
Yeah.
did. No, she gave me the directions.
Oh.
But, like, by the time I was expecting to get up here at 5:30, when I got up here at 6, I seen the green on, and then I'm like, boom, right there. I'm going in.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came upstairs,
You went that way instead of coming this way.
I came this way. Then
Oh,
I
I see
asked,
at the bottom. I gotta change that to put it 2132 instead of that CL2-132. That's what people might be getting confused at.
okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't know, but I know it's some girls, they got like a football team thing down
They
the
run the
hall.
whole city in Cleveland, the community league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked them, and they was like, they don't know. And it was another girl coming, and she was like, did you check the other side of the building?
Oh, man.
So I'm walking around there, and then I'm seeing like CL 089 and all that, and I'm thinking it's there. I'm like, no, this ain't it. Came back around here, they got like a black soap thing.
Oh yeah, right there. Did he tell you to come?
Yeah, but wasn't nobody
Yeah,
in there.
yeah.
But I'm looking at the addresses on there, and I'm seeing 140. I'm like, all right, I'm close. It must be in this thing. So I walked inside that little cul-de-sac for a minute, and then I'm like, no, it ain't in here. I just start walking up here.
I know, if I should just gave you my number, it would have been so much easier to kind of explain, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make mistakes too.
But no, I appreciate y'all for having me,
I got
man.
y'all.
All right.
Definitely.
Get y'all up out of here.
All right.
Definitely.
You want to use your phone for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you wanted at? In front of
Right, yep.
Yeah. Hey, wait, you do hair too?
Mine.
Oh, you do?
I hope other people like that.
All right.
I appreciate it. Sexy Shi, thank y'all for having me, man. T-Rex, this is dope, man.
For sure. Yep.
Appreciate you. Much love, man.
Sure.
I got
Hope to see y'all again.